Right. Here we go again. Well, that was fun. I was going to show you lots of stats, and I thought, what's the point? What's the point? Like, the stats you can see on screen right now, that'll do. Possession, expected goals, I mean, total shots, chances created. 2 big chances for Chelsea, and they scored both of them. Oh, man. It's a real struggle, guys, isn't it? It's a real struggle. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're not having a good time at the moment. Well, actually, for the last decade, pretty much. The last time I think we somewhat came close to being properly competitive was 2016 when Leicester won the title, and we were pushing them for it. Yeah, it could have happened on another time. Maybe we could have somehow pulled that off. But I think ultimately that season was all the big teams were really struggling. And fair play to Leicester, it was remarkable. But beyond that, I mean, we're going into the 2000 to 2010 era. Yeah, it's shocking. It really is. We're 2 games into the season, and this is the thing, guys. I don't care. I don't care. That is when you know it's bad. When you don't care. I just don't care. But I do, you know? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care, but I really do. It's because I can't afford to care. Mentally, I cannot be there right now and actually try and digest this. I just don't care enough. It's so frustrating. Did you know Arteta has lost more Premier League home games in 20 months than Arsene Wenger did in 6 years at the Emirates? Did you know that? That's shocking. When I read that, I could not believe it. But then, when you take a step back and you think about all of those losses we had at home last season, yeah, it's definitely possible. And it checks out. It's true. Arsene Wenger had a better home record over 6 years at the Emirates than Arteta has had in 20 months. That's just... I mean, it's not good enough, is it? Now, this video is not going to be me bashing on Arteta and saying he needs to go, because it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you Arsenal fans think out there. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Arteta is here to stay, and unfortunately, whether you believe in him or not, if you trust the process or you don't, nothing is going to change that. He is going to be here at least, I think, until Christmas. And if that's the right decision to keep him in his position, and maybe we can turn things around after this... Oh, God, we got City next. After the international break, when we get Norwich, and maybe we get a win there, and maybe we'll get a good win against Tottenham when we play them soon. Maybe he'll start to turn things around. But ultimately, if you've got a brain, you will know, I know it, it's probably not ever going to improve enough. With Arteta, the way it's going, it is inevitable. So my question is, at this point, why not just pull the trigger and bring in a new manager whilst we've still got a few more games to go until that point of no turning back? We're in August and I'm already thinking about this, but come the end of September, if we have lost 5 games out of 6 or 5 games out of 7, we may have already crossed that line where that is irreversible damage. So why are we prolonging this? It does make you question the thought process behind all of this. Clearly, they believe that Arteta can still turn it around, and there are some small fibres in my brain that believes it too. How? From what I've seen today, there's no hope. Tactically, all over the place. Honestly, look, guys, right, I'm going to get Reece James on the phone. Oh, hello, Reece. You had a great game today. Did you enjoy running down that right side of the pitch completely unmarked for 90 minutes? Yeah, I bet you had a great time. I bet you couldn't believe it. I know. Saka didn't track back. Tierney wasn't covered. Oh, mate, your goal was unbelievable. Well done. That must have been a great training session for you, Reece. Yeah, I'll let Arteta know that maybe next time when we play against a team that play 3 at the back with wing-backs that overlap. Maybe I should let him know that maybe we should cover those runs. Yeah? You know, the basics of football. Cheers, Reece. Thanks for the input. And honestly, mate, best of luck. Quality team you've got there. Well done. Honestly, I do question the sanity that goes into the tactics at this football club. We're playing against the champions of Europe. Whether you believe they deserve that or not, they won the Champions League, and it freaking hurts, man. It really does, okay? They're playing the same system they've played for a while. Thomas Tuchel seems to have just mastered this three at the back formation so well with Chelsea. They play with two wing-backs that get forward, specifically their right side. Reece James effectively plays as a right winger. So what do? Think basics of football. If a team has a strength and it's ultimately a weakness to you, you have to do something about that. You put a player over there. Saka is the perfect player to keep that space occupied and then unleash him on the break. And there's no doubt in my mind that that probably was the game plan. What happened to it then? Why was Reece James allowed to just completely own that right side of the pitch? Our left side was shocking today. Another strength that Chelsea have, and it's a given. Even though Lukaku has not played a minute before this game for Chelsea this season, we all knew he was going to be a nightmare. Everyone and their grandma could have seen Lukaku. Give him space in the box, or don't mark him and lose those physical battles. He's going to tear us apart. What happens? Lukaku scores. Lukaku's involved in both goals. And you just think to yourself, why? Why? Is it a case of no one can deal with him? If that's the case, then we should all give up on football, because how can you just admit defeat like that? Yep, Lukaku, you're too good. Just go for it, mate. That's just not good enough. Infuriating, because we all saw it coming. And I love Tierney, by the way, and I'm not saying that Tierney was the problem today, but he could have done better if Saka enabled him. Saka is the problem. Unfortunately, all of those people out there that love Saka to bits, including me, he's our star boy. I love the kid. But he is at fault for that first goal just as much as the defence. Where was he? Why is he not tracking back and covering Reece James? It is basic football knowledge. You try and stop their strengths. It is really not that difficult, but we don't do that. We just don't. It reminds me of when we had when we had Wenger for the last few years of his tenure at Arsenal. We all could see this trend where he did it for a while, to be fair, and he got away with it. He played the same tactics no matter what. It didn't matter who came to the Emirates or where we went. We always played 4-2-3-1 most of the time, and it was just play our way, and that is it. And we got found out so many times towards the end of his career at Arsenal, and ultimately I think that's what cost him his job. He was very stubborn with his tactics, and boy, do I see it with Arteta. Maybe it does work. Maybe this playing out from the back, spreading out to the wings, crossing into the box. Yeah, okay, maybe if we won the first game in this game, I wouldn't be sitting here complaining about it. But my God, it is so one-dimensional and so boring. Even the crowd, and by the way, I should say, great to see the stadium full, still supporting the team through thick and thin. There was boos, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of booing at the end, and at half-time we were 2-0 down. But great to see the stadium full and supporters there. But you could see how frustrated they were watching it in front of their very own eyes. I'm sitting here behind my TV and watching it and finding it painful. Imagine being there, soaking in that atmosphere and the frustration when we're on this really promising attack down the left side. You've got Smith Rowe and Saka combining, finding pockets of space. They're getting in behind. They kind of run out of space. They have to give it to Granit Xhaka, who's in a great position to support them. All he has to do is look up and find another pass inside, through the central areas, whatever. But no, what does Granit Xhaka do, who, by the way, is getting a brand new contract, lovely stuff? He turns around and passes it back to the defenders. Because guess what? Not only does Xhaka probably think that that's the right thing to do at that time, and maybe it was, but it's because Arteta drills it into these guys. Pass it backwards. If there's nothing forward, go backwards, reset, change it over to the other side, bring it back again, and give it back. It's never-ending U-shaped football, and I'm sick to death of it. Sick to death of it. Ultimately, we've just played against Chelsea, and we weren't going to win this game unless we got very, very, not just lucky, but we had to play the perfect game today. And it's very easy to get carried away because it's 2 games, 2-0 losses, and we've got City next. Ultimately, this is going to be 3 games of a 38-game campaign. This Premier League season is still so young. It's very easy to write Arsenal off. And yeah, the target of top 6 football is looking very, very unlikely right now. But what I will say, and I don't mean to sit on the fence, okay, because I think I've made myself very clear in my previous Am I Arteta Out type video. I truly believe if Arteta is the man to turn this around, then he will stay. For a reason, I believe it could potentially happen. But I also strongly believe, as I mentioned not too long ago in this video, it does seem a bit inevitable at this moment, and I do question what's the point? Why are we just... Why? Maybe come October, we get on a nice win streak and we find ourselves climbing back up the table. But as of right now, we're pretty much bottom of the league, and we don't look good. If we looked okay and we were playing good football and still looking like we were dangerous on the break and things like that, then kind of fair enough. We've just been beaten on the day, and it is what it is. Beaten by a team that have nothing to lose. I'm talking about Brentford now, who've just come up in the Premier League, and they've got the underdog status going into a game like that. But genuinely, they really weren't. We all knew it, and they got their win. And you can kind of live with that if we played well and whatever. But then to come up against Chelsea and just be dominated. But it's not just about being dominated. It's just as viewers of the game who... Let's be real. Not a single person watching this video has enough ability or knowledge or whatever to be a Premier League manager. If that is you, then apologies. But you know what I mean, right? We're all armchair fans, whatever. We go to the game, we watch it. We have some knowledge of football, right? Every one of us can see we didn't even do the basic foundations of football to nullify their strengths and to beat their weaknesses down, knock on the door a little bit, and I don't know, guys. It's going to be a really, really tough season. It really is. We've got Sanya. I saw he had like a quote. It's going around online that Arsenal have lost their DNA. And that's very true. We lost it a long time ago, mate. Not this season. And he was saying how when he watches Arsenal, he doesn't believe we're going to win. Doesn't even matter who we're playing. He believes, and I quote, that we will concede a stupid goal and lose the game. Now, Sanya's not a legend, okay? I don't see Bakary Sanya as a freaking legend of Arsenal Football Club, but my God, if half our players had an ounce of what he had, just professionalism-wise and his mentality, we'd be in a much better state. So I listen to stuff like that, and I believe for a fact, as a player, Bakary Sanya played at Arsenal for multiple seasons, and he would have been part of a dressing room that was so much better than the one we've got now. Levels above. If he is saying these things, you have to listen. You have to wonder who else is thinking that within the club right now. Which of those players is going in at half-time when we're 2-0 down thinking, my God, this is bad? How many of those players just don't believe in Arteta and don't believe what he's doing? Because from an outsider's perspective, you've got to be wondering, if you're like a Chelsea fan today or any other team in the Premier League, if you're a fan of someone that isn't Arsenal, you must be thinking, why would they back their manager at this point? If this was Chelsea today, they would have sacked the manager before the game even finished. It's pretty laughable. Anyway, I'm just waffling at this point, guys. It's very, very difficult to watch. It really is. And I've been an Arsenal fan since basically 2001, a couple of years before the golden era where we went invincible. I mean, we're so far off that, and it's very, very, very difficult to watch. But ultimately, I'm going to be live watching these games all season long and living through it, living through the pain live on air. If you guys want to check out the live streams, then please do. This is basically what it looks like, but you can see a pitch. You can see what's going on in the game. It's great fun. We had a lot of people out today basically trolling and talking rubbish about Arsenal. And yeah, it was a good stream. I really enjoyed it, and I know I go on about it, but I'd love it if people would come out and watch. The watch-alongs are just so much fun. The link is down in the description. But that's it now. We've got, West Brom in a couple of days. Maybe win that one. But in the league, it's Man City coming up, and that just, nah. Can we not? Can we just pull out? Just give them the 3-0 win now? Because genuinely, that could be a 4 or 5-0. We are actually better off forfeiting that game. At this point, we might as well just delete club. You know that feature in Ultimate Team where you can just delete your club? Funnily enough, I believe that image has a picture of Arteta. Don't get me wrong, I think it is. Anyway, thanks for watching this review, guys. Operation Arsenal off to an absolute banger this season. 2 losses in a row, 0 goals scored, and seemingly a club that is slipping and slipping and slipping away. Sad times, man.